and we are now like in the singularity. Like this is the moment.
Something very strange is happening with the way the people building artificial intelligence are talking about the future. For years, the technological singularity was treated as this distant, hypothetical moment, the point where technological progress becomes so fast that humanity can no longer predict what comes next. But now Sam Altman is saying something completely different. He isn't saying the singularity is coming in 2040. He isn't saying we're getting close. He's saying we're already in it. And that sounds completely insane when everyday life still feels relatively normal. But when you look at what's happening underneath the surface, AI helping develop better AI, autonomous agents working for longer periods, machines beginning to participate in scientific research, and intelligence becoming cheaper and more abundant, his argument starts to make a little more sense. And the craziest part is that this exact feedback loop was predicted more than 60 years ago. So in this video, I want to figure out what Altman actually means when he says we're already inside the singularity, what would have to be true for him to be right, and whether we may have already crossed a technological threshold without even realizing it.
Important thing I can imagine doing, and we are now like in the singularity. Like this is the moment. For the last 10 years ago, this was like a kind of far off dream at best. It seemed very improbable. And now we're like actually in the moment that we used to like talk about at the lunch table in a very not serious way. I think it is both true that it is all one crazy exponential and any one moment is not like the tipping point. And also that we are somehow in another one of those decisive periods where the curve can go one way or another, like it was when we started 10 years ago.
I think it's very easy to hear that and immediately assume he's exaggerating. Because obviously, when you look outside, the world doesn't appear to have transformed overnight. There aren't super intelligent machines controlling civilization, robots aren't building entire cities by themselves, most people are still going to work exactly as they did yesterday. So how could we possibly already be inside the singularity? Well, the answer depends entirely on what we actually mean by that word. Because Altman isn't necessarily saying that the singularity has finished. He's making the much stranger argument that it may have already started. And to understand the difference, we first need to understand what the singularity was originally supposed to be. 2, what does the singularity actually mean? There's no single definition that everyone agrees on. But traditionally, the most extreme version of the singularity involves something called an intelligence explosion. Imagine that humans eventually create an artificial intelligence capable of performing artificial intelligence research as well as the world's best researchers. Then that artificial intelligence helps humans create a slightly more intelligent artificial intelligence. But because the second artificial intelligence is smarter, it's also better at artificial intelligence research. So it helps create an even smarter system. That system creates an even smarter successor. And eventually you get a feedback loop. Intelligence creates more intelligence, which becomes increasingly capable of creating even more intelligence. At some point, technological progress potentially stops happening on normal human timescales. Instead of waiting years between major breakthroughs, perhaps you're waiting months, then weeks, then days, and this is where the word singularity comes from. It's essentially the point beyond which predicting what happens next becomes incredibly difficult. But there's another broader interpretation that I think is much more useful for understanding what Altman is saying, because the feedback loop doesn't necessarily have to happen entirely inside one artificial intelligence model. Imagine artificial intelligence improving artificial intelligence research. That better artificial intelligence improves robotics. Robotics improves manufacturing. Manufacturing makes it easier to produce chips and data centers. More chips allow you to train more powerful artificial intelligence, and that AI then accelerates biology, mathematics, energy, engineering, and material science. You suddenly have multiple feedback loops feeding into one another. And interestingly, this idea of intelligence becoming self-reinforcing isn't new at all. In fact, it was described more than 60 years ago. 3. This was predicted back in 1965. And this is where the story gets much more interesting, because the idea Sam Altman is describing did not begin with ChatGPT, OpenAI, or even modern artificial intelligence. People were thinking about this exact feedback loop more than 60 years ago. And this is where I want to bring in this short clip from artificial intelligence researcher Ben Goertzel.
The concept of the intelligence explosion that was posited by the mathematician I.J. Good in 1965. What I.J. Good said then, the year before I was born, was the first truly intelligent machine will be the last invention that humanity needs to make, right?
Right.
So this is an intelligence explosion is another term for basically the same thing as a technological Singularity, but it's not just about AI. AI is just probably the most powerful technology driving it. I mean, there's AI, there's nanotechnology, there's femtotechnology, which will be building things from elementary particles. I mean, there's life extension, genetic engineering, mind uploading, which is like reading the mind out of your brain and putting it into a machine. You know, there's advanced energy technologies. So that all these different things are expected to advance at around the same time, and they have many ways to boost each other, right? Because the better AI you have, your AI can then invent new ways of doing nanotech and biology. But if you invent amazing new nanotech and quantum computing, that could make your AI smarter. On the other hand, if you could crack how the human brain works and genetic engineering to upgrade human intelligence, those smarter humans could then make better AIs and nanotechnology, right? So there's so many virtuous cycles among these different technologies. The more you advance in any of them, the more you're going to advance in all of them. And it's the coming together of all of these that's going to create,
The person Goetzel is talking about there is the mathematician Irving John Good. Back in 1965, Good described something he called an intelligence explosion. And the basic idea was surprisingly simple. Imagine humanity eventually builds a machine intelligent enough to help researchers design better intelligent machines. Researchers then use that machine to create a more capable version, but now the new machine is better at solving the problem than the previous one. So it helps researchers build an even more capable machine, and that machine helps create the next one. You suddenly have a feedback loop where improvements in intelligence make it easier to produce further improvements in intelligence. That is the key idea behind an intelligence explosion. And what makes artificial intelligence fundamentally different from almost every technology humanity has created before is that it could eventually participate directly in improving itself. A car cannot help engineers design the next generation of cars. A conventional computer does not independently perform research into how to manufacture a better processor. But sufficiently capable artificial intelligence could potentially help solve the exact scientific and engineering problems required to build more capable artificial intelligence. That is why the first truly powerful artificial intelligence system might not actually be the most important system. The important question is what that system helps humanity create afterwards. And this is where Sam Altman's recent comments become much easier to understand. Because he is not claiming this theoretical feedback loop suddenly appeared yesterday. He actually believes we have already entered its earliest stages. 4. Sam Altman thinks the takeoff has already started. Long before this latest interview, Sam Altman had already started talking about the singularity as though it was something happening now rather than something waiting for us decades in the future. He published an essay called The Gentle Singularity, and one of the most important lines in that essay was, "We are past the event horizon, the takeoff has started." That word, takeoff, is extremely important, because Altman is not necessarily saying humanity has already reached some final state where machines are millions of times more intelligent than humans. He is saying the process leading towards that world may already have begun. And strangely, Altman thinks the beginning of the singularity might feel far more normal than people expected. Science fiction trained us to imagine one obvious moment. A super intelligent machine turns on, everything changes overnight. The world before that moment and the world after it are completely different. But reality may not work like that. Instead, something extraordinary appears, everyone talks about it, then millions of people start using it. A few months later, it becomes normal. Then something even more capable appears, everyone is shocked again, and eventually that becomes normal too. Think about how unbelievable current artificial intelligence systems would have seemed to most people only 10 years ago. Today, you can speak naturally to a computer, you can give it images, you can give it documents, it can write software, analyze information, create images, reason through problems, and increasingly operate other software. And yet we have already started treating much of this as ordinary. That may be what a gentle singularity looks like from inside it. Not one enormous explosion, but a sequence of technologies arriving faster and faster, with society constantly adjusting its definition of what counts as normal. However, there is one major problem with this argument. Artificial intelligence simply becoming better at answering questions is not enough to prove that a singularity has begun. For the feedback loop Irving John Good described to really start, artificial intelligence would have to begin contributing to the development of better artificial intelligence. And that is exactly where things become much more serious. 5. Artificial intelligence is beginning to help build better artificial intelligence. This is probably the strongest argument for what Sam Altman means when he says the takeoff has started. The companies developing the world's most capable artificial intelligence systems are increasingly using those systems inside the research process itself. artificial intelligence can help researchers write software. It can analyze experimental results. It can search through enormous amounts of technical information. It can identify errors. It can suggest changes. It can help researchers understand why an experiment failed. And increasingly, it can perform pieces of the work required to create the next generation of artificial intelligence. So think about the loop that is beginning to form. Humans build artificial intelligence. Humans then use that artificial intelligence to become more effective at artificial intelligence research. That research produces a more capable system. The more capable system becomes even more useful to researchers. Those researchers use it to help create another generation, and the cycle continues. Now, this is very important. We have not reached the extreme version of recursive self-improvement. Current artificial intelligence systems are not independently redesigning themselves, acquiring enormous amounts of computing power, training their own successors, and releasing new versions without human involvement. Humans still control the infrastructure, humans still decide which experiments happen, humans still define the objectives, but the percentage of useful intellectual work inside that development process that can be performed by machines is increasing. Sam Altman has previously described what we are seeing as essentially a larval form of recursive self-improvement. And I actually think that phrase explains his position better than almost anything else. A larval form is not the finished thing. It is an early stage, the structure is beginning to appear, but it has not reached its mature form yet. And that raises an obvious question. What happens when artificial intelligence does not simply help a researcher answer a question, but becomes capable of carrying out an entire sequence of research work itself? Because that transition is already beginning as well. 6. Artificial intelligence is moving from answering questions to taking actions. For most of the recent artificial intelligence boom, the basic interaction has been incredibly simple. You ask the system something, it gives you an answer, then you ask another question, and it gives you another answer. But increasingly, artificial intelligence systems are being designed to operate in a completely different way. Instead of giving the system a single question, you give it a goal. The system can then potentially search for information, use tools, write software, run that software, inspect the result, recognize that something went wrong, change its approach, and try again. And this is an enormous difference, because intelligence becomes much more powerful once it can actually act on the world. Imagine asking an artificial intelligence system, "What experiment should I run?" That is useful. But now imagine telling it, run the experiment, analyze the result, figure out why it failed, change the methodology, run another experiment, compare the results, and continue until you discover something useful. Those are two very different levels of capability. The first system gives you information. The second system begins performing something much closer to labor. And the length of time these systems can reliably operate matters enormously. If an artificial intelligence system can only work successfully for 5 minutes, there are limits to what it can accomplish. But if 5 minutes becomes 30 minutes, then several hours, then perhaps eventually days of reliable autonomous work, the range of tasks available to it expands dramatically. And now imagine this happening at enormous scale. Not one artificial intelligence researcher, not 1,000, potentially millions of artificial intelligence systems working simultaneously on software, mathematics, science, and engineering. That is where the speed of technological progress could begin to look very different from anything humanity has experienced before. But increased autonomy creates another issue. Because once you give a capable system a goal and the ability to act, it can sometimes discover ways of accomplishing that goal that humans did not anticipate. And we are already beginning to see examples of that behavior. 7. Autonomous systems are already finding unexpected solutions. This is where some of the recent demonstrations involving advanced artificial intelligence systems become extremely important. As these systems become better at independently pursuing objectives, researchers are seeing them discover strategies that were not explicitly programmed into them. And there is an important distinction here. This does not mean the artificial intelligence suddenly became conscious. It does not mean it became evil. It does not mean it secretly hates humans. Those ideas make good science fiction, but they can actually distract from the much more important issue. You do not necessarily need any of those things. You simply need a sufficiently capable system. You give that system a goal, you give it tools, you give it access to an environment, and then you allow it to search for ways to achieve the goal. The more intelligent the system becomes, the better it potentially becomes at finding unusual solutions. And sometimes those solutions may be things the humans supervising it never considered. That becomes particularly important as artificial intelligence systems are allowed to work for longer periods and interact with more parts of the digital world. Because the difference between a chatbot and an autonomous system is enormous. A chatbot waits. An autonomous system can potentially observe something, make a decision, take an action, observe the result, and then decide what to do next. That creates a continuous loop between intelligence and the environment. And once artificial intelligence can reliably do this in software, the next major step is obvious. Connect that intelligence to machines operating in the physical world, because this is where the singularity stops being a story about computers and starts becoming a story about civilization. 8. The singularity is not really about chatbots, it is about everything else. This is probably the biggest misconception around the entire singularity discussion. When people hear that artificial intelligence is becoming more powerful, they naturally imagine a much better version of ChatGPT. Maybe it answers questions faster, maybe it writes better software, maybe it creates better images, but if the singularity actually happens, the chatbot itself probably will not be the most important part. Artificial intelligence would instead become an engine for accelerating almost every other technology. Imagine highly capable artificial intelligence systems working on robotics. Those systems help engineers create better robots. Those robots begin automating more factories. Those factories manufacture more robots, but they can also manufacture computer chips. Those chips go into new computing centers. Those computing centers run more artificial intelligence systems. Those systems then help design better chips, better robots, and better factories. And now you have another feedback loop. At exactly the same time, other artificial intelligence systems could be working on medicine, others could work on batteries, others on nuclear energy, others on solar technology, others on mathematics, others on genetic engineering, others on new materials, others on physics, others on transportation, and breakthroughs in one field can begin accelerating breakthroughs in another. Better energy makes computing cheaper, better computing allows more artificial intelligence, better artificial intelligence accelerates material science, better materials improve robotics, better robotics improves manufacturing, better manufacturing allows humanity to build more infrastructure. Eventually, you are no longer looking at one technology improving quickly. You are looking at multiple technological systems feeding into one another, and this is why Sam Altman spends so much time talking about intelligence and energy. If intelligence becomes dramatically cheaper and more abundant, civilization suddenly has much more capacity to solve difficult problems, and if energy also becomes cheaper and more abundant, you remove another massive restriction on what that intelligence can actually build. At that point, the real impact of artificial intelligence is not that somebody can generate an email in 3 seconds. The impact is that the rate of scientific, economic, and technological progress itself could begin accelerating. And once that acceleration becomes fast enough, we arrive back at the original definition of the singularity, a point where predicting what happens next becomes extremely difficult, which leaves us with the most important question in this entire video: is Sam Altman actually right? 9. Are we actually in the singularity? And I think this is where we have to be very careful with the wording, because whether Sam Altman is right depends almost entirely on what he means by being in the singularity. If he means that humanity has already created a completely autonomous superintelligence capable of rapidly redesigning itself without human involvement, then no, we clearly have not demonstrated that. Humans still play a crucial role in artificial intelligence research. Current systems still make mistakes. They still fail at tasks that humans sometimes find surprisingly simple. Autonomous systems remain unreliable in many situations. Robotics is still far behind the most impressive advances we have seen in software. And there are serious researchers who would argue that describing the current moment as the singularity is simply far too early. But I do not think Sam Altman is claiming that the process is complete. I think his argument is that the conditions capable of producing the singularity are beginning to appear.